the rapid and pervasive spread of fake news online.
It's believed to be coordinated posts with disinformation about the war.
Truth is the first casualty in war, and this phrase has never made more sense than it does now.
Over the past few weeks, we've all been browsing online through social media, seeing all these posts about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. A lot of fake news being spreaded out there among friends, co-workers, people that are just absolutely not related to the conflict, have never been there, never visited, and are spreading pure misinformation and ignorance throughout the world. Maybe they're doing that to be liked more, and maybe to promote their careers. Maybe they think they're following and promoting a cause they really believe in. Now, the problem is that using false words such as apartheid or genocide, these false accusations that are just completely not related to what's going on. You see these among protests and campuses. Now, let's take a look at what genocide actually means. The acts committed with intent to partially or wholly destroy a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group. Now, let's go ahead and take a look in the past at a nation that actually did that. The Germans, back in the 1940s, could easily claim and fool the world, if there was social media, that they have been through genocide. I mean, if you look at the numbers, they had a lot more casualties than both the UK and France. The moral of the story, and what you should take from this, is next time you see the death toll in any type of conflict, do not let yourself get any first impression from that or establish any opinion of that conflict without knowing what's really going on. Because sometimes the external scars, they don't reveal the whole story. It's like seeing the ruins of a house without knowing who set the fire. And the Germans have committed genocide on more than 16 million. Now let's dive into some numbers. We know that if a genocide is committed on any nation, it would lose its population by between 20 to 60%, roughly. The worldwide average population growth is between 109% to almost 1.5%. Take a look at what's going on among Palestinians. From the 1950s, Palestinians had a positive population growth on average of approximate 2.5%. That is more than double of the worldwide. Some years they even had a population growth of more than 4%. If there were to be any type of genocide, you would see these numbers drop. Numbers don't lie. Remember, people do. I don't know if I should find all of these protests holding signs about Israel committing genocide disturbing or funny, because, I mean, who would believe that now that you know the numbers, right? But yes, it still happens, and people still deny it, and people still falsely accuse Israel by committing genocide. And you want to hear the most ironic thing is that they're actually asking for genocide to be committed towards Jews in Israel.
Now the entire Jewish community around the world are freshly vulnerable.
In the wake of the Hamas terror attack, already traumatized Jewish communities have had to grapple with hate speech and verbal and physical abuse.
In the city of Lyon, a 30-year-old Jewish woman was stabbed at her home. The assailant is still at large and daubed a swastika onto the woman's door.
Now let's talk about that other word, apartheid. What is it, and what does it actually mean? Apartheid was a system put in place in the 1940s by a South African political party. Now, they actually created crazy laws separating between whites and non-whites, and this was just like a few minutes after the Nazis got kicked out. At the time, only white people were able to vote and play on national sports teams. Non-whites were not allowed to participate in any of these events. Alright, now, so you know what apartheid is. Let's see what's going on in Israel. 30% of all Israeli doctors are actually Arab. On all sport teams in Israel, including national sport teams, there are minorities playing for Israel. also Arab Israelis playing for the national soccer team. 17% of all higher education students are Arab. I'm absolutely sure that if all of these protesters would actually know what's going on in Israel and that there's no genocide, no apartheid, never has been, there's no way on planet Earth they would participate in all of these protests. There's no way on planet Earth they would actually not stand with Israel. But when you have different news outlets like BBC and Al Jazeera promoting fake news and not covering the real story here and what's going on, and all of these politicians and influencers and ambassadors that are just promoting lies.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
I'm sorry, but I refuse to spend this sacred day listening to lies and condemnation. This debate disgraces the fallen, and Israel will not take part in it.
Within just a few hours, on such a small piece of land, you can witness many different types of views and landscapes, cultures, a beautiful mixture of cultures and cuisines. This is one of the things that makes Israel so special and unique. Some of the holiest places on planet Earth are in Israel, and there are security measures that need to be taken care of and put in place, just in order for people to practice their faith and religion peacefully. The words being used falsely, accusing Israel with apartheid or genocide, all it does, it just creates hate and rage among people around the world that do not know what's really going on in Israel. An invisible bridge has been built between Israelis and Arabs. This bridge has created unity, empathy, coexistence, friendships, families between Israelis and Arabs in Israel. These false words and false accusations do not help build this bridge. All they do is help demolish it. If you want to help build this bridge, please, all I'm asking you is to spread out the truth.